Ah.
All right, we just got back a couple hours ago from a trip down to Richmond for RavenCon, which is a great under 1,000 people,
About 900,
about
yeah.
900 people science fiction fantasy convention because we're big dweebs, nerds, geeks, whatever, and we like hanging out with other people of like ilk. And this turned out to be a really good occasion. We had a lot of fun. It's been sad that we haven't been able to do that for the last couple of years. We ran into people that we'd been meaning to link up with in the past and couldn't because of COVID, and sort of renewed or started again those friendships. So that's pretty awesome. We're jazzed about it.
Keith
But
says greetings.
hey, Keith. But we're also a little on the maybe tired side. I don't know. So this isn't necessarily thrown together, but we'll see how things go because I have not made any of the drinks we are going to make this evening beforehand. So we're going to just give this a try. Before I should do that, I should point out that waiting for us in the mailbox when we got back was a couple of brand new Cthulhu T-shirts because it is Lovecraft cocktails after all, right? And you can't tell. I mean, this just looks like your typical Lovecraft head, and it says Cthulhu across the top here. What you can't see is the bottom portion, which is no lives matter, right? I don't know how that works. But in any case, yeah, this nice. It's a light sweatshirt. It works really, really well. So far, I like it. Hasn't been washed yet, so we don't know how well it stands up. Can't give you any guidance there. We got that, and we got a long sleeve T-shirt that um, is done in that same sort of stained glass window with Cthulhu in it style that you've seen maybe the shirt that I have. We've done that in the past. But in any case, actually, we got a lot of compliments. I wore that shirt this weekend, and people going, hey, I like that. So, what are we going to do this evening? First of all, we are going to toast, and we are going to toast with some rum. I think we should toast to newfound, new reconnected friends. I think because or gatherings of friends. And since friends purchased this rum, the Kohana, I thought we would drink that. We also took a little bit of the Kohana with us to the convention. So here are a couple of rums. And the Kohana, so this is a rum agricole that's produced in Hawaii. So it's not technically a rum agricole because it's not produced in Martinique. Right. It's the agricole style. So it is, yeah, it's essentially it is done from the juices of the sugarcane. So not sugarcane syrup, not molasses. It is straight up the sugarcane juices are fermented for a short fermentation time, and then they can be put through either pot or column still. I don't frankly remember which this is. My guess is it's probably a pot still because I think this is relatively small.
I think so, but
we don't know. We would have to check.
I would have to look
for you. So here we go. Here is a little Kohana. Thanks to the folks that have purchased the Kohana for us, because oh my gosh, yummy. And here's to
new reconnected and old friends.
And old friends, because there was a lot of that going on, not just us. There were a lot of people. We heard a lot of conversations about.
I haven't seen you in 2 or 3 years.
Yes, and yes, the shirt is wet. That's because I squirted lemon juice all over the shirt, and I didn't really want it to be, grossed out. It's not the first time I wore it. Why are we thinking again? We're gonna drink, right? Let's see. I find that the nose on this is not. I would not immediately guess agricole rum from the nose.
Right, it doesn't have that kind of earthy, grassy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But it definitely has it in the flavor profile. Although I think this is a really good intro agricole rum because there's some of that molassesy character.
Not over.
Right. It's not.
Is this rum?
Correct. Yeah. We've got agricoles that are just like, I ordered rum. What is this?
Right.
And it's like, no, this is rum. It's just I I don't know, we associate it with like grass clippings and hay and that sort of thing. Much more of the terroir of the rum, because you don't get any of that from molasses. This is really good. There is like a honey note at the end of this. I don't remember what the proof is. It's 45%.
Okay.
That's kind of where I would have guessed. It's like it feels a little hot to me, but it doesn't feel overproof. And your typical rums are going to come in at 40, 43. So this coming in at 45 is right about right for where the flavor profile is. Not overly hot, not like knocking back sips of the Hamden Jamaican overproof while sitting around the fire Saturday night. Hey, would you turn down the lighting in here just a tad? Because my face is all in shadow. There we go. I think that's better. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So RavenCon. RavenCon used to be down in Williamsburg and is now in Richmond, or at least is for the time being. And
I think it's permanently in Richmond.
Yeah, maybe permanently in Richmond. Don't know. But in any case, we were down in Richmond for the weekend. And the convention hotel was very nice. The tavern did a wonderful thing. They tried to put together some drinks around the theme of the convention. It is RavenCon. It's sort of devoted to all things Edgar Allan Poe in many ways.
We have a Greg Terry.
Hey, Greg.
And Keith has some Mount Gay Eclipse.
Oh, Mount Gay Eclipse. Nice one. Nice one. So what we're going to do this evening is not one of those bar drinks, because they tried. Bless their hearts, they tried. But yeah. So they did some variation on like the screwdriver, which was a screwdriver, but they threw bitters in it. Okay, probably better than an average screwdriver, but here's points for trying. Well, hello, I have a little doorly down at my feet. Hi, girl. The cats have been all over us. It's the first time we've been gone, both of us, for like 2 days straight. They're like, oh, you came back, please. So what we're going to do, there is a cocktail knocking around the internet called The Raven. And we're going to do kind of The Raven this evening, just because we can. So what are we going to do? We are going to actually build this in the glass, and I need... Well, we're not actually going to build this in the glass. What am I saying? We are going to put it in this glass. We're going to put it in a Pilsner glass. We are going to shake it, and then... No, you can't... No, do not get out of my glassware. You're cute. Yes. Hold on a second. Hi. This is Doorly. Apparently, Doorly really wanted to be on screen this evening, or really wanted to be in the glassware cabinet. So we're going to go with the safer option, which is Doorly on screen. Everybody say hi to Doorly.
Hi, Dorley.
Hi, Doorly. There we go. All right. Back down there you go. All right. Good girl. Professional bartenders, if you have a cat in your bar for whatever reason, you pick up your cat, you should wash your hands afterwards. This is just Star and I drinking, so we're not going to worry about it. I just towel. Anyway, we are going to actually start this drink with a shaken concoction, and then we are going to float stuff over it. So what goes into this? One of the friends that we've reconnected with at RavenCon is a vodka fan, and so fine, I will actually make a vodka-based drink. So this is a split base, vodka and rum. All right, fine, I'll do it. We are going to use, because we got, oh my gosh, a lot of vodka when friends left the area. So I'm about halfway, no, not even halfway through this wonderfully large bottle of Kirkland Signature American Vodka. And that is what we are going to use for this. Starts out with one...
We did get to try her, like, high-end...
We did get to try her Crystal Head vodka. And I will say that I actually detected flavors in that. So, not all vodka is totally devoid of flavor. Look, I'm making a drink with vodka in it. Ask for 1 ounce of rum. Now, the recipes that I've seen for the Raven don't specify what kind of rum. Just to give you an idea of the recipe. So we are going to go with a white rum. There's coloration issues here involved. So we are going to go with the Plantation 3-Star. Nice blend of 3 different kinds of rum, hence the 3-star. Doesn't stand for years. This is Jamaican, Barbados, and Trinidad rums. All in here, up in here, up in here. Okay. Then, this is a really easy drink to make because all of the ingredients are the same measure. 1 ounce, I know, 1 full ounce of blue curacao. I'm so frightened of this cocktail. There's no sour component here. There's a full ounce of blue curacao, or yeah, full ounce of blue curacao. I just don't know. There isn't even a strong, because the base is split with vodka, there isn't even a strong spirit in here to break this up. So yeah, I'm just a little weirded out by what this cocktail is. Yeah, this one does not involve any of the Liber & Co. syrups. So this is the one non-Liber & Co. drink we're going to do this evening. There's some ice. We're going to lid this up. We're going to shake away. Very blue. Oh, many moons ago, somebody asked, and I don't remember who it was, why we will sometimes, after shaking a drink like this, rather than use the ice cubes that are in it, we will put fresh ice cubes in this glass, which we're going to do right now, and then strain out the old ice cubes. And I didn't have a really good answer for that other than appearance. I still think part of the issue is appearance, but I have been told by sources that I trust that part of the issue is that the ice that has already been in your shaker, you've transferred energy to it, it is slightly warmer than it would normally be, it has irregular edges on it, and therefore it dilutes faster. And so if you just left the dirty ice in here, your drink would dilute way too fast for what you want. Okay, so we have this very blue concoction going into this glass. And then the recipes all call for taking some form of reddish or purplish liqueur and attempt to sort of float that over the top of this. So what are we going to do? We happen to have some black raspberry liqueur here. This is like Arrow brand. This is not particularly brilliant black raspberry liqueur. It probably has artificial flavors and the like in it. There are a couple of drinks that call for this in the Tiki Cannon, blackberry or raspberry liqueur. So I keep a bottle of the cheap stuff on hand for doing exactly that. And here we have a spoon. We're going to see if this will float. I have no idea. We will find out very soon. And it does the exact opposite of float. It falls to the bottom. So this is going to be a reverse Raven because we are supposed to have the blue on the bottom and the purple dark color on the top. So clearly that didn't work. I have a hunch this is just going to be awful sweet. But you're going for this combination of sort of blue and purple in the cocktail. I don't know. I'm not sure why this gets the moniker the Raven. Not sure at all. But we're going to give this a try. We're going to give this a drink, and we'll see how this goes. It's telling me that I've got problems with my throughput. I don't know why. I don't know how. Doesn't seem to be... You're looking at it. It doesn't seem to be a problem. So
We have a Ruth and a Colleen.
Okay, I'm going to take a sip. I'm going to give this to her. She's going to take a sip. Then we're going to stir this, and we're going to try this again.
Where's your mic?
My mic's over here somewhere. Oh, my mic is buried. Oh, and it's not in the machine. Oh,
You need to stir that.
yeah. So that's awful.
That tastes like, you know those sippy sticks the Kool-Aid off-brand flavor aid.
It's not going to get better. It's
The
not going to get better.
icicle sticks
People, it's not going to get better. We're just mixing this hyper sweet black raspberry in
that
here.
ends up being, ice, and then the
And this is why
flavoring.
This is why you pour it on top, is because this color is kind of a blackish green. Ugh.
It looks more like a raven's wing than...
It does. This actually looks more like a raven than the previous incarnation. She might like that, with the raspberry much more prominent there.
It still tastes like a Flavor Aid pop.
Yeah.
But, I'll drink it.
I think this is a great convention drink. This has got that sweetness there that the average convention goer is going to like. So if you were to serve this at a room party, I think this would go over well, right? Mm-hmm. You got this kind of blackish color to it.
Yeah.
You can do some presentation things with it if you don't have too much going on in the party. It's thematic because it's the Raven, and it's not going to break the bank because you can use, a vodka to kind of extend it. You don't have to use a super expensive rum to get flavor out of here. It's certainly drinkable with a cheap liqueur, the blackberry liqueur. So, as a convention drink, which are not known for being high craft cocktail drinks,
I would be pleased with this at a room party.
Yeah, yep. You'd also get about half that size at a room party, but that's probably fortunate, right? Yeah, because usually one doesn't go to a room party.
No.
One usually goes to many, many room parties. Okay. One down. That's the Raven. That is the essence of us going to RavenCon this weekend and having a really fun time. Next cocktail, we are going to delve into the Liber and Company syrups. So Liber, Liber, and Company. So we ordered originally some of the caramelized fig syrup because yum, figs. And what we got was the Kola syrup. And they went, oops. And so we went ahead and reordered syrup again, and we got the fig syrup. So this evening we're going to start with the Kola syrup, and then we are going to move on to a cocktail made with the fig syrup. Now, what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, I need my wife to go to the back room for me and get a Coca-Cola. Because what we are going to do, we're going to fight. We're going to have a fight. We are going to take the recipe on the back of the Libre and Company bottle for a Cuba Libre, and we are going to put that up against a rum and coke with some lime juice in it. And we're going to have this head-to-head matchup of two rum and cokes. So I'm going to disappear because I got to get my glassware. Coke! Here we have one glass. Here we have a second glass so that we can do the rum and coke off. Coke off.
Sort of like the Pepsi challenge, but better.
Right, because there's alcohol involved. Dun, dun, dun.
And it's Coke, not Pepsi.
Right, well, one is Coke, one is not.
All right, one is Kola.
So let's see, what does this say? It says, stir all in a highball glass filled with ice. That's cola syrup, rum, lime juice, and 3 ounces of club soda. Okay, well, we can do that. First of all, I'm going to shake the cola syrup. I also like that they put this in something that approaches the correct order. So you put in the syrupy ingredient that sticks to everything first, and then you add the other ingredients. I like that. Okay, so we need old eyes, 3/4 of an ounce. Oh, no, we're not using that. No. Sorry about that. I looked down in my jigger, and there was this blue coloration. I'm like, what is... Oh, right, blue curacao. No, that does not belong in a Cuba Libre. Okay, 3/4 of an ounce of the cola syrup. Right in there. There we go. And then we have 1.5 ounces of rum. We're going to keep things simple. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the Plantation 3-Star. Do I want to do that? Or do we want to do something else? I think I want to do something else. Let's Let's go with the Flor de Cana 12-year, and we'll make a good Cuba Libre.
Ooh.
All right. Yep. All right. They recommend 1.5 ounces of rum, which I think is a terribly light pour for a rum and coke, but that's all right. Okay, so there's 3/4 of an ounce. And there is
Andrea and
3/4 of an
Raven
ounce.
Colleen says sound is fine with Mike. Not much difference.
Okay, not much difference. Interesting. 1/4 ounce of lime juice, according to this bottle here. So, crunch, crunch. How's that sound for you? We're going to take this and we are just going to squeeze that right in there. Not even going to bother with the usual straining of lime juice. That. And then I'm going to take one more little squeeze of lime there. I like mine a little heavier on the lime than most people. Shoot that over there. Okay, so there's lime. Next up, 3 ounces club soda. What we have here is a soda stream. Soda stream that I cooled the water and then we did it upright with a bunch. Yeah, see, there you go. You can hear it. So this is fresh soda stream. We can go 3 ounces of soda stream. So there's one. And 2, 3. Okay, so there you have the Cuba Libre. We're going to throw some ice in there and stir that up, obviously. According to the Liber and Company recipe. So let's stick that in there. We need a spoon to stir with, not this one, unless we rinse it off. I promised myself I wouldn't do too much of that running back and forth to the sink this episode, because I did way too much of it last episode. But that apparently is not going to happen. All right, Cuba Libre number 1. Next up is the Cuba Libre number 2. And for that Cuba Libre, we are going to go my usual, which is just, there's 1. Wait, yep. And I want 1 more. Used up too much lime on that first one. Oh no. Another squirt of lime in there. I'm going to crush these guys. And I like to throw the lime peel in to give it just a little more limey flavor to it. Now, standard rum and coke is 1.5 ounces of rum to 4 ounces of cola. So we're going to follow that. This is the Dale de Groff Cuba Libre, which is 1.5 ounces. So we're going to keep the rum to the same proportion, 1.5, 1.5. I usually like a little more rum in mine. So there's 1.5 ounces of our Flor de Cana 12-year rum. And then 4 ounces of cola. So we'll just do that. This is Coke, of course, not Pepsi, not RC. There's 2. And 4. Throw ice in there, give that a stir, and we will have our competition between the 2 Cuba Libres. Obviously, we get a lot more foamy head off of the Coca-Cola. Somewhere in here, there we go. We can just put that right on there. Second one, get it right on there. We're going to stick some straws in here. Things. Once again, 2 straws. We're going to match the color to the glasses. Isn't that awesome? All right, so that goes in here. This goes in there. All right, dear wife.
Yes.
Can you come forward, please?
Yes.
And would you face that way? What do you think? Which way should we go? We're not going to tell her which one she's going to have. All right, I'm going to put this one in front of her. How's that? Here you go.
I don't know.
No, because then you'll know which one it is. Hand that back to me. Uh-huh. What do you think?
Taste is a little off.
Taste is a little off. Okay. Try that one.
This is the Coke.
This, according to the wife, is the Coke.
Is it not?
It is not.
Oh my gosh! I'm impressed.
This is the Liber & Co. Cuba Libre. This is a rum and Coke with some lime in it. There's a difference.
Wow.
You have not had a chance to just taste the cola, have you?
Mm-mm.
Let me do that for you. The cola syrup is actually, I could drink this stuff with, well, I could just drink this straight. That would be very bad for me, but there you go. Try that.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that powerful and
Yeah.
yummy? It's like Coke turned up. It's not as acidic as a Coke, as the Coke one.
It tastes more like Coke than Coke does.
It tastes more like Coke than Coke does. Now, we aren't being entirely fair. This is made with cane syrup. That is made with high fructose corn syrup. So maybe if we made this with the
What they call Mexican Coke.
Mexican Coke, yep, which, you know, has other connotations in other locales. Which one of those would you like to take back to your table with you, miss? Because you're going to take one of them. Wow. All right. So there we go. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Pooch, I don't have a soda stream. I buy cans of Coke. I like my rum and Coke just fine. Why would I ever buy the cola syrup if I don't have a soda stream? Well, because you can use their syrups just as you would any other syrup in a cocktail. Can you? Why, certainly. So what we're going to do right now is drink from the Liber and Company webpage using their cola syrup, and this is called the Havana Grand Prix. So how are we going to do this? Shaken cocktail. Yeah. We need a ½ ounce of the cola syrup. Start that way. Oop. ½ ounce cola syrup coming right up. I can do that. While we're doing this, I'm going to throw some ice in this coupe. And start that to chill just a tad. I think that'll work better for us. I should do that with all of my barware, but it is just hard to get around to doing that sometimes with all the things that are going on at the bar. I don't have a refrigerator right under here, so I really can't have my glassware chilled to start with unless I want to go to the back room or send the wife to the back room constantly. And that's, you know, you like to see us rather than watch our backs as we run into the back room to get supplies, I think. So next ingredient is 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. We need a ½ ounce of orange liqueur of some sort. Now the recipe does specify Grand Marnier, but we are not going to actually use Grand Marnier. What we are going to use is dry curacao, which we happen to have right here. Oh wait, I have a tiny little bottle of Cointreau. Let me see about using this up. ½ ounce. Whatever we can't get out of this bottle, we will make up with the dry curacao. How's that? You can tell I'm not really being all that careful about the orange liqueur ingredient here. All right, make sure that comes out. There we go. 1/2 ounce orange liqueur. Grand Marnier, a curacao of some sort, dry or sweet. is an ounce and a half of cognac. So we're going to reach for Pierre Ferrand 1840 cognac. As it turns out, this is thematic for RavenCon as well, because Edgar Allan Poe's favorite tipple was, in fact, cognac. So we're going to go ounce and a half of cognac. There's 3/4. And 3/4. Ta-da! Do we need anything else in this? Yes, there's a bitters component. We're going to go a single dash of Peychaud's bitters. Peychaud's bitters is probably number 2 on the bitters ranking charts. Angostura is number 1. Peychaud's number 2 in terms of when a recipe calls for bitters. How many of them call for a specific type of bitters? So Peychaud's or orange bitters would probably be in the 2-3 spots, depending upon what kind of list of cocktails you're looking at. So if you're putting together your initial bitters component of your bar, you probably want to have Angostura, a good quality orange bitters, and some Peychaud's. So we're going to go single dash Peychaud's bitters out of New Orleans. All right, there we go. This is the Havana Grand Prix. We're going to throw some ice in there, shake it up. Shake, shake, shake. And there we go. Lid that up. There we go. We have a Havana Grand Prix sitting here waiting to go into a glass. Okay, I'm just going to toss this back into my ice kit here. Chilled glass. We are going to want to double strain this. It gets out all of the tiny little ice chunks. Assuming that I can get my strainer out. There we go. Here we are. Deep brown color. Expected to be a little more reddish. Although I don't know, with the syrup in there, maybe not. And then this is intended to be garnished with a lemon peel or lemon twist. So we're going to take this, I'm going to grab a channel knife, which makes it really easy to pull these thin twists. This is not the best lemon in the world, but it's okay. And you can just twirl that around and drop that in there like such. And there we go. This is the Havana Grand Prix made with the Kola syrup from Liber and Company. Aside from the little taste of my own hair in my mouth, that's quite delicious. That's quite yummy. The cola note is not overpowering. It does come in at the end of the cocktail. So unlike the rum and coke, where the coke is prevalent and upfront and in your face and tasty, with the back notes being rum, this drink is the spirits all forward. So the lemon, the orange, the cognac, the Peychaud's are all forward, and it ends on a cola note. There you go, my dear. Give that a try. This could be a drink that I could see us making with some regularity.
I like that.
Yeah, that's quite nice. It's just a sit around. I mean, it's a very tropical drink in some ways. It's not a cheeky. It's not cheeky candy.
Right,
drink.
and it's not like a hot day gin and tonic type drink.
No.
But it is a summer evening drink.
Especially if it's raining. I think this would be just sitting there watching the rain pour down in sheets. Yeah, this would be quite tasty.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do some dishes for me? I'll put this over here for you. I will get the Kirkland bottle out of your way. So there you go. We have done the Raven we have done a fight between two different rum and cokes, and the surprising winner of that being the home-batched Liber and Company syrup Cuba Libre. We've done the Havana Grand Prix, which turned out to be really, really quite nice. But those are all using the Kola syrup. Huh.
Which was the mistake syrup.
That was the mistake syrup. That was the syrup we weren't supposed to get. So what are we going to do for the cocktail using the syrup we were supposed to get, which is the Liber and Company caramelized fig syrup. Now, most of the recipes that you'll see out there calling for fig syrup don't specifically call for Liber and Company. They call for some sort of homemade fig syrup. And in almost all of those cases, what they're calling for is actually taking something like fig jam and mixing it with honey, or fig jam and mixing it with a little water, or even in some cases Angostura bitters, to thin it out some, and then using that in your cocktail. This is actually a syrup made from figs that have been heated and caramelized, and so we're going to give this a try. This also does not require the standard.
Soda stream.
This does not require a soda stream. However, let us go back to our Kola recipe here. The Kola recipe says 3/4 of an ounce of Kola syrup. Okay, well, let's go over here and go take this glass. We're going to go 3/4 ounce caramelized fig syrup. There we go. Deep, thick, much thicker than the Kola syrup. And let's see, I think it was 3 ounces? Yep, 3 ounces of club soda. And here we go. And we are going to do a fig soda and see what that's like. Do I have any idea? Nope, haven't tried this. Have I used these syrups before? I have. I used both of these in doing old fashions, and they were quite tasty. I thought the fig old fashioned was a little better. One of the recipes on the back of here, by the way, is for a fig Manhattan. So fig syrup, whiskey, sweet vermouth, and aromatic bitters. So I'm just going to swirl that around. And we're going to throw a couple ice cubes in there. Great. Chill that down. And here is fig soda, a la SodaStream and Libre Company. It smells like fig. You know, the dried figs that you get during the holiday season? Yeah, that's what this smells like. Not gonna lie, a fig soda is a little bit of a weird soda. It works though. I wouldn't want a whole lot of it. I think it really does require something else added to it, unlike, you know, a Coke where you can just sit back, throw some ice on it, knock back a cola. The Coke is really much fizzier than the SodaStream. You can, of course, jack up the amount of fizziness in your SodaStream, but it's really, wow, that fig is really potent. It comes back and haunts you, but in a good way, because I'm still tasting, even after the, well, it's interesting, because I don't normally pick up fig flavors from Coca-Cola, but after tasting this and then taking a swig of the Coca-Cola, I kind of pick up some fig notes from the Coca-Cola, so that's really bizarre. I'm not saying that I would necessarily be wanting to sit around and have a whole lot of fig soda, but it's intriguing, and I'd be willing to play with it as an ingredient in cocktails. But we're not going to do that. Oh, no, that is kind of tasty. It's hard for me to figure out when I would drink a fig soda, though. It's you got to be right in the mood for it. Oddly enough, it feels to me like it would go really well with pecan pie, and I have no idea why that's coming to my brain. Maybe there's a molasses bit to it. I don't know. Just seems like the flavor profile reminds me of pecan pie for some reason. But you might not have a soda stream. You might not be able to use your Liber and Company fig syrup to make your fig soda. So you have to find something else to do with it. Well, what can you do? Here we go to our friends at Kindred Cocktails, and one of the recipes that they have is for a drink that calls for fig syrup. It's called the Braeburn Park, named after Braeburn apples, right? Braeburn apples are named after what is the
Brooke said, what and add lemon to the fig.
Brooke said we should add lemon to the fig and find out what that's like.
I think so.
To the fig syrup, she's saying. Okay, yeah. Just a little squirt. So we're going to do a Cuba Libre, but not, right? Is that what we're going to do here? We're going to do that. There you go. Okay, it's a suggestion from longtime viewer, Ms. Brooke, who is back from a successful jaunt to Las Vegas, where she had to spend a little more time in Vegas than she thought she would, because it turned out she had to do some work for the NFL draft, which that's kind of cool. I don't know. It smells the same. Interesting. I think Brooke's onto something, because the Coca-Cola has the citric acid component to it that was completely missing from this. So this is was a little one note. I think you'd have to really struggle to play around with the exact right proportions of lemon juice or lime juice in this to make that really, really work. I don't know that that was the right proportion, which is good because I didn't measure it. But it does add another component to that. It's interesting. Would I drink more of that than I would just the fig soda? Maybe, but I need to cut back on the lemon, definitely, because I'm losing a bit of the fig with that. Now, I'm a big fan of figs and blue cheese, so I could see sitting there with a charcuterie board and a small glass of the fig syrup. Yeah, the fig syrup, not the fig soda, sorry, with the fig soda, maybe with a squirt of lemon in it. I think that might work. I have to remember that for the next charcuterie board. But that's not what we're here to talk about right now. We're here to talk about the Braeburn Park cocktail. So how do we do this? Well, this is, once again, I'm making things easy here. There's no crushed ice. There's no blended drinks. These are all shaken drinks, so making my life easy. So what are we going to do? We're going to go shake, shake, shake. Start here. We're going to go 1/2 ounce fig syrup. Again, you can buy from somebody like Liber & Co. There are other places that produce fig syrup, or you could make your own off of fig jam. Or if you really wanted to, you could use fresh figs, but oh my gosh, fresh figs are so good by themselves. Why would you make a syrup out of them and kind of destroy that fresh fig flavor? I know the whole point of the syrup is to preserve that flavor. I don't know that you could preserve the flavor of fresh figs in a syrup. I don't know that that's going to work out well for you. Fresh figs just have such a delicate kind of flavor to them that, again, pairs really, really well with blue cheese. Next up, 1/4 ounce falernum. Oh, wait, is the Braeburn Park a tiki drink? No, not really. But still, we're going to go ahead and pull some ingredients from the tropics, and the falernum is right there. So again, lime, clove, maybe a little almond in the falernum. There. What does it say here? Rum, sugar, lime juice, and certain spices. Yeah, sure, certain spices. Uh-huh. Makes it sound like allspice jam. There is a lot of clove in this. Okay. Next up, 1/2 ounce lemon juice. So you gotta have the sour component. It's coming in after the sweet components. That works. Half ounce. There you go. And then for the spirit component of this, normally you'd see me reaching for some rum, right? But in this case, the recipe actually calls for Laird's. So Laird's is essentially an apple brandy. This is 100% apple brandy. This is Applejack 86. It is not made by the jacking process. The jacking process is not legal in the United States for you to sell alcohol that way. The jacking process takes apple juice, apple cider or apple juice, and lets it ferment and then freezes it so that you get the separation of water from the rest of the components, and then you pull off the large thick hunk of ice, and what you're left with is liquor. That's called the jacking process. It's not legal in the United States to sell alcohol using the jacking process because you can't control for some of the really nasty alcohol components that might be in that. And, well, we don't want anybody going blind, so we're going to stick with the formally distilled, formally, right, as opposed to formerly distilled Laird's. So we have 1 3/4 ounce of the Laird's apple brandy. There's one. There's 3/4. Now, we are going to go off book here because the true recipe off of Kindred Cocktails says you should then add 1 ounce cider. And it does not specify what kind of cider you should add to this. It doesn't say hard cider. It doesn't say not hard cider. But it does say to pour it into the cup and shake. Now, if I do that using a hard cider, like, oh, I don't know, this Crisp Apple Angry Orchard hard cider, the cocktail shaker is going to blow apart in my hands because of the carbonation of this. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to substitute the Angry Orchard hard cider because I don't have any non-hard cider in the house, nor do I have any apple juice. So we are going to shake this, and then we are going to add this to that. And we're going to use a little hard cider here. So that sounds like a plan to me. And we're going to put this in, oh, I don't know, how about one of our goblet glasses? How about one of these guys, right? The Inuele little goblety quasi, I'm not even sure what that's called. It's not a snifter. It's not a goblet. It's certainly not a hurricane. It's kind of like a half hurricane glass. I'm sure it has a name. I don't know it. Tulip glass? Is that a tulip glass? I don't know. Okay, so we're going to put ice in here. A little more ice in there. Now, sadly, this drink only calls for 1 ounce. 1 ounce of cider, which is truly a shame because we're just going to have to crack this bottle and we're only going to use 1 ounce of that. So somebody's going to have to throw themselves onto the process of drinking the rest of this bottle of cider. I don't know who that might be, Star. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take and pour the 1 ounce of cider into the glass to start with, like such. And then we will pour the cocktail into that, and then we'll add ice. Hey, let's do this professionally. No, my shoulder is not better. For all of those that might be asking. It is not. It's still owie. But that's okay. We'll get through it. What I do for my craft, right? So there we go. So this is the Braeburn Park. We're going to add that to the cider. And then we're going to throw a bunch of ice in there. So that'll mix as you throw that in. Apples and figs. This seems like a very spring, summer kind of cocktail to have. Doesn't it? Doesn't that seem like it should be? Little ice in there. Like such. There we go. Totally the wrong glass because we're not anywhere near a wash line on that, and I'm certainly not going to add more cider to that to bring it up. We are going to reach in and grab a straw, but not that one because that's a little too long. We do have these wonderful little white straws with the pride flag on them from Surfside Sips. You know, if you go to Surfside Sips to order straws and you use the promo code LOVECRAFT, LOVECRAFT, all capital letters, you can get a 20% discount on your order of straws. I believe they are still backlogged.
Oh, they're open again.
They're open again. Yay!
They're back from Tiki Oasis.
Oh, right. They were at Tiki Oasis, and hence the backlog. All right, so here we have the Braeburn Park, and I have a cat at my feet. Apparently, she wanted the Braeburn Park. That's what she was like, Dad, let's get to the Braeburn Park. All right, we are like 4 minutes short of when we should be ending this episode, so we're going to try the Braeburn Park. Here we go.
Did you want a Braeburn?
Well, it's very appley. I'm not sure. Well, no, there's the fig. That's really strange that these cocktails have the syrup component coming in at the end. No, that's not what I wanted. Moms.
Definitely fig.
Definitely fig? I get definite apple.
Apple and fig. I get both, yeah.
Well, so that works out the way it should then.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've got the Raven.
Mm-hmm.
We did a knockdown drag-out fight between a traditional rum and coke and a Cuba Libre made with the Kola syrup from Libre and Company.
Which there's a link to in the comments.
Excellent. And that one turned out that Star liked the not the original. She liked the
Libre and Company.
Libre and Company. So, that might be a thing. We might have to worry about that in the future, making sure we have Kola syrup. I don't know. I don't know about that. It's so easy to just pop a can of Coke and pour some rum in there.
Yeah.
We're also, we're cheating a little bit. We're using 12-year-old rum in our Cuba Libres. It's kind of
like we're at Jose Andre.
Yeah, kind of. So Jose Andre used to do a rum and coke or a Cuba Libre.
He still does at Jaleo.
Right, that is their own proprietary blend of cola.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. It's very tasty, very high end Cuba Libre.
Saint Jose Andre, I think.
Saint Jose Andre.
Yeah,
well,
he should be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So here is the rum and coke.
Yeah.
You didn't get to try the. Here's the fig soda with a little bit of lemon in it. Again, I think the lemon's a little too strong in there. And the Braeburn.
Yeah, that's lemon.
And the Braeburn. The Braeburn's really good.
Braeburn's yummy.
So we're pretty successful here. We're surprised by the fight with the rum and cokes.
Yeah.
We discovered that we could probably mix up a batch of the Raven for a con party if you wanted to do that.
If we ever decide to do a room party, yeah.
Yeah, if we decide to do a room party at RavenCon, we're probably doing a tiki party anyway.
Yeah.
So probably do it.
But we could have a punch of the Raven.
Yeah.
And then have.
And, you just mix up the rest of the batch and then have the blackberry or raspberry liqueur. Again, it's supposed to be done with Chambord.
Yeah.
Which, I wouldn't want to use the Chambord for the room party.
But
because
blackberry, whatever, works fine.
Yep. We did the Havana Grand Prix, which I can't taste because it went away.
It's gone.
It was gone. It was good.
It was good.
Yum. And the fig syrup used in the Braeburn Park was really nice as well.
Successful evening
across the line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So successful weekend all the way across, and I welcome.
We did get our.
What else did we get? What did we get?
We got our caricatures framed.
Oh yes. You want to grab the caricatures?
Yeah, I can do that.
So she's going to walk in with the caricatures in either arm, like Moses with the tablets, I think is how that's going to work out. Actually, I think what would be... That is pretty good, actually. A little bit of dilution there. There you go. Here, let's remove my elbow from that. See, we've got to do the Moses with the tablets thing, right? Here. I've come off the mountaintop with the commandments from our Lord. Go forth and drink. There you go.
So yeah, we got little frames from Amazon.
We're gonna figure out where
Very
we're
actually nice frames for the money.
yeah. So we're gonna figure out where we're gonna put these up
Yeah.
in the bar area.
Yeah.
They may be behind me sometime in the future.
Oh.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, that would work.
Yep, we're gonna figure that out. And thank you very much for tuning in. I guess the Hawaiian for thank you is mahalo. So we're gonna say mahalo to all of you for tuning in and listening to me gab about cocktails for another week.
Go make some daggone good cocktails.
Go make some daggone good cocktails. Oh, that reminds me, at RavenCon, one of the panels we had was on H.P. Lovecraft and very much talking about, Lovecraft in the modern era. And can we still talk about Lovecraft? Can we still read Lovecraft? What does it mean to have an artist that was amazingly influential, but also pretty much just a horrific human being? I mean, even by his own time period, a lot of people were calling him out for being a racist jerk. And we had a great panel on that. I'm sometimes asked how I deal with the fact that there are a lot of things in my life that I like that have what you might call problematic aspects too. So Tiki has.
What shirt are you wearing?
Yeah, the No Lives Matter shirt, right? Tiki has its own issues with cultural appropriation. H.P. Lovecraft certainly has issues with being a racist jerk. There was another one, I don't remember what the third one was, that was also in that same vein. I'm a big fan of space opera as a genre, and one of the great authors in space opera is E. Doc Smith. And the guy, I don't know that he's any more misogynist than any of the other writers around his time, but today he comes across as being very misogynistic. I would just like to go on record as saying that I think it's actually good for our society to have prominent, influential, very good works of art produced by problematic individuals. If nothing else, it teaches the lesson that problematic individuals can still have worth and can still contribute to society, and you don't need to completely cancel an individual for all mistakes that they make, that there is a redeeming value that can be found in almost all individuals. So they can transcend their own weaknesses and still contribute to society. Sometimes it's really hard. But I also think that, particularly with Lovecraft, if he did not have that problematic nature to him, we would not be as good at reading and interpreting modern literature and looking for those kinds of influences and where they might show up in literature. Does that mean it has to ruin the literature? No, because you can read it without having to read that with that hypercritical eye. But it does mean that it's there, and it makes us better critiques of the stuff that's being written today and how that might resound with the future. So on that note, wow, that got deep really quickly. I'm going to drink more. I'm going to clean up. Yay, pooch. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to drink more, and then I'm going to go to sleep because I got a big work week ahead of me. And we will talk to you all later at the end of that work week, where we will do episode number 107 of Quarantiki. So adios, everyone. Mahalo. Thank you for joining in, and we'll see you next week.